Hi guys, it's Andy from NismoTechUK. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing and overview for LEPA, and this is their MaxBron 1000-watt PSU. So we're going to start off by having a look around the outside of the box. We've got the LEPA logo up at the top, or the LEPA logo. Obviously they're also known as LEPA. An image of the actual PSU on the front of the actual box as well. 80+ bronze, a certified hybrid modular cable design, anti-I3S brick design, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment. Another image of the actual PSU. And also down here it confirms the actual model that we have, which is the B1000-M from the MaxBron series of PSUs. Apart from that, we've got a little bit of branding all the way around the outside of the box. And on this side we've got active PFC, protection circuit, silent hydraulic bearing fan, anti-3S brick design, Intel Haswell support, and 88% high efficiency. Moving on to the back of the box, and we can find a load of specifications and features for the actual PSU. So looking over to the right hand side of the box itself, you can see we have got the power table, which obviously covers the entire range from the MaxBron series, which is 450, 550, 650, 700, 800 and 1000 watt, which is the one that we actually have in front of us. One thing to look at is obviously the 12 volt rail. It's a single 12 volt rail and it kicks out 996 watt, which is pretty impressive indeed. Moving on to this side, we've got a couple of various different specifications and features. Obviously it is a hybrid modular cable design, which is going to make things a lot easier when plugging cables in and not having to plug them all in, which is going to be really handy, especially for cable management. We have got anti-3S brick design, which protects power supply from shock, static electricity and slip. The fan is a hydraulic bearing fan and delivers silent cooling and durable performance. And we have a high efficiency 5V SB circuit, which helps systems meet EU ERP Lot 6 standard. A couple of other things to point out, like I've already mentioned, it has got a powerful single 12 volt rail, and we've also got extended CPU connectors, which are up to 65 centimeters to allow you to obviously install into the bottom of cases that are bottom mounted with the PSU, and hopefully the cable with that extra length should be a lot easier to route around the back of the case. Talking of connectors, again obviously we've got the entire range covered here, but the one that we have comes with 6 6+2 PCIe connectors, 12 SATA connectors, 8 Molex connectors, and also a floppy drive connector. So let's now take a look inside the box and see what the PSU looks like. Okay, so I'm now going to go and pull the lid up, and the first thing that we are greeted with is a user manual. Page 1, we do have English. Also, it's just going to tell you about the various cables, how to actually go and install the actual PSU. On this side, we've got the bundled cables, and as you can see, they're all black braided, black connectors, apart from the PCIe. Look to be pretty damn good quality braiding, good quality wires, etc. On this side, we have got a bag, which features the LEPA logo on the front there. And we've also got this. I'm not quite sure as to what this is, but we'll take a closer look at that in a moment. Put that down to one side. We've got an EU plug. Obviously, depending on where you actually purchase this, from what country you're in, you're obviously going to get the relevant plug to go with the actual PSU. And then down on this side, we've got a couple of standard black Velcro ties, and also your 4 case screws as well. And then we come on to the main star of the show, if I can get it out, which is the actual PSU itself. So I'm just going to go and take it out of the bubble wrap so we can have a closer look. Okay, so we've now got the power supply out of the actual box itself. We're going to take a closer look at it now. See that on the front now we have got the LEPA logo. And obviously with a hydraulic bearing fan in behind there. One of the first things you're probably going to notice is this sort of rubber sort of material around the outside of the actual PSU. We'll come on to that in a moment. Also we've got the MaxBron B1000-M logo on that side, and obviously depending on what way you actually have the PSU facing, that's obviously going to be the right way up, which is good to see. Got LEPA branding on this particular bit of material here. Nice amount of ventilation with the honeycomb on this side, and obviously standard form of connectors. On this side here, again, obviously we've got the actual power table specific to the actual PSU. So it mentions it again up at the top that we are looking at an 80 plus bronze certified PSU with the 996 watt on the 12 volt single rail. So looking at this side of the PSU, we've got the LEPA logo down at the bottom that looks really quite nice with the gold against the black. I actually quite like the layout on this. It actually looks like they put a bit of thought into this. Because it actually looks sort of quite attractive compared to some PSUs that are on the market. As you can see, you've got your optical hard drives, your SSD, basically your SATA and your Molex connectors on here. You've got 6 channels of them, and then also you've got your 2 GPU additional ones there. We've also got this plastic material around the actual cutout for the 24 pin and 4+4 cables that feed through here. So even if you were to pull them tight or snag on the actual framework of this hole, it means that you're not going to actually cut the cable, which looks really good. So just sort of going over this weird sort of contraption. What it is basically their Q-brick, and obviously it's designed to stop anti-static, stop it from slipping around, from moving, and any form of damage. Now the beauty about this is the fact that obviously you are, if I can do it, able to actually remove this particular colour. If I can just get it to do it a moment. Take that off and pop that down over there. You're actually able to install the black version. Obviously again, you've got the LEPA branding up at the top there. So you don't necessarily have to go for this ready orange version. You can go for the black version and keep it all black. And it's quite a nice sort of idea, nice concept. Also, we've already got the holes on there as well, which is really good to see. And a nice bit of thought. It's not just a bit of rubber as such that's just been thrown over the top of the PSU. We've actually put a bit of thought into that. So we're going to basically go and put the black one onto the actual PSU now. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the actual cables that come off the actual PSU itself. As you can see, we've got the 24 pin on here. We've got 2 6+2 PCIe connectors, so obviously if you're just running a single card, that should be ample for you. And your 2 8-pin or 4+4 pin connectors on here as well. And the actual cables themselves, as you can see, is a really good decent length. So next up is your peripheral cables. As you can see here, we've got one of the actual cables. There are in fact 4 of these particular cables, and on each one you do have 3 SATA connectors, and obviously your 6-pin connector that plugs into the actual PSU itself. And as you can see, we've actually got quite a decent length between each connector, and also from the actual PSU to the first connector as well. In addition to that, we do get a cable here. As you can see, it comes with 4 Molex connectors on here, and also you've got the same amount of distance between the actual connectors, etc. And then finally, the last cable to look at features again 4 Molex connectors, but also that legacy floppy drive connector as well. Next up, and obviously in case you are looking to run multiple cards from this PSU, obviously you do have 2 cables that feature 2 6+2 connectors on here as well, and as you can see, they're not that bad of a length at all. So obviously once you've decided what cables you actually need to use in your actual build, you can then obviously go and store the rest in your LEPA bag along with your spare Q-brick. Okay, so we're now going to take a look at the actual fan in operation. Now, so I'm going to just switch, if I can find it, the actual switcher on here. Now, as you can see, the fan is going around on the inside there. Now, obviously, we've got no load whatsoever running through the actual PSU, so I wouldn't expect any form of noise. And just bring in the microphone in a little bit closer, so you can see how close it actually is. But really, there is absolutely no noise coming from the PSU at all. One other thing to note as well is when you actually switch the PSU off, so I'll just take the actual cable out as well, it's already switched off. So as you can see, the fan keeps on going even though the power has obviously been removed from the power supply, just obviously keep cooling the actual PSU and the internal components down. Okay, so now to my personal thoughts about the LEPA B1000-M MaxBron PSU. The first thing that I want to mention is that the LEPA PSU has been made in partnership with the guys over at NismoTech. For those of you in the know, NismoTech actually manufacture and produce their own PSUs, they're their own OEM. So essentially this is an NismoTech OEM PSU. So it means that even though there's not a great deal of information available on the internet as to what components are actually used internally, you can be rest assured that this particular PSU is going to be full of really high quality components internally. Apart from that, it is quite a standard PSU. It's 80 plus bronze. You've got ERP lot 6. You've got a variety of different connectors. It's got a single 12 volt rail. And going back to the connectors, obviously you've got more than ample enough of connectors available for you in terms of Molex, SATA connectors, and obviously for your graphics card as well. One thing that's slightly different on this PSU compared to the majority of them out there is the Kubrick design. I like the fact that they've got an orange version which looks quite nice, but also you can change it out to the black version. And even though essentially it's just a little bit of rubber that goes around the outside of the actual PSU, I can imagine that it's going to obviously help with the actual vibration. Obviously, as it says, it helps with static charge, etc. So it's just adding a little bit of thought to the actual PSU as well. The one thing that I was really impressed with was how quiet the actual PSU was. Obviously, as you saw, I lifted the microphone right in front of the actual fan itself, and there was, even though there's no load going through it at that point, it really was whisper quiet. You could not hear the actual fan itself. And I did actually swap it over for my current PSU in my main rig, and had a listen, and even when I was sort of playing a couple of games and obviously cranking the system up to full, it was still very quiet indeed. So I was really impressed with how quiet the actual PSU is. And finally, in addition to that, I think it's quite an attractive looking PSU. The build quality externally is really, really good as well. And the other thing that I really liked was the fact that the cables just seem to be that little bit longer as well. So overall, a very, very good choice for those of you that are looking for an 80 plus bronze but a high wattage PSU. So we hope you liked the unboxing and overview for the LEPA B1000-M MaxBron PSU. Don't forget to also check out on the website, see what rating we actually do give this PSU, and obviously there'll be links on the website to where you can actually purchase this particular item as well. And we'll look forward to seeing you in our next video. We hope you liked our video review. If you did, then please leave a like as well as any comments or questions you may have down below. Full details and specifications on this item can be found at our website, NismoTech.com, along with all the links for purchasing if you wish. Also on our site you'll find our latest reviews and current giveaways, plus a lot more. We look forward to seeing you in our next review.